Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here today. It's going to take a few minutes for the waiting room to populate.
Okay.
We have, again, and with our pleasure, our guests from Biomedican. And as you may recall, if you joined us last time, this is all Dennis's fault. My friend Dennis is kindly, not only is he knee deep in this project, but he's kindly shared it with the Family Office Insights community. And we had the pleasure of having them a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. We're gonna, they made quite a bit of progress, and we're gonna learn about that today. So thank you all for sharing your afternoon with us. For the record, this is being recorded. And while we can't see or hear you, and the purpose of the recording is to make sure that if you want to review it on the Family Office Insights website, YouTube channel later, you're welcome to do that, or share it with others that you think that might find it interesting or benefit from listening to the program today. So just a little Zoom housekeeping here. You're most welcome, and we encourage questions throughout the presentation, and we'll get to as many as we can. We get a bunch of folks that will be logging in today. And so feel free to ask any question, and I'll be monitoring the questions and getting them answered as we go along. You can do that either in the chat box or the Q&A, as most of you know. And so please feel free to do that, and we welcome all the questions that you have. So we have Dennis, my friend, and Maxon, who is the founder of Biomedican. And so we're going to talk a little bit about their background.
Froze, Arthur.
What's that?
Your screen froze for a second, but it's better now.
Okay, good. Thank you, Dennis. So with that, I'm going to hand it to you, Dennis, and do a little background, and then go formally into the presentation. You might want to, Dennis, click that little button with on the PowerPoint, which allows the full screen, down way on the bottom there. The last thing, remember we did that?
Yeah.
There you go. Try that.
Okay, there we go.
Perfect. Okay. All right, here we go. Thank you very much all for being here, and welcome Dennis and Maxon.
All right, thank you so much, Arthur. It is a pleasure to be back on the Family Office Insights webinar. I think hopefully we'll have something very, very interesting to talk to you about today. We've made significant progress since the last time we've been on. And for the people that are here for the first time, I think that you'll be pleasantly impressed by what we've been able to accomplish today. So Biomedican is a biosynthesis platform to where that we are able to target through biosynthesis high-value compounds, including cannabinoids, a compound called astaxanthin, and other high-value compounds that we'll talk about a little bit later on today. Let me take it. These are just the risk disclosures. If anybody would like a copy of the deck, we are more than happy to provide that to you. So Biomedican, the high level of Biomedican is that what's critically important here is that we are non-touching, plant-touching business model, which means that we are, we do not produce THC, we do not touch the plant, which alleviates us from most of the state and federal regulations. We have actually $3.5 million invested to date. We have two products that are ready for large-scale production. We produce pharmaceutical grade compounds, and we have a world-class management team and strategic partnerships with significant universities around the world, which we'll go into a little bit more later. But at the end of the day, what we're able to do is produce these rare cannabinoids for 70 to 90% less than high volume wholesale prices are today, which leaves significant margins for us to be able to capture. We have an experienced management team. We'll go into that later. We have 4 foundational patents that are pending, which are significant based upon the results that they're producing. And we have been, this is a proven technology. It's a proven platform. We've been able to successfully produce biosynthesized cannabinoids and other high value compounds. Also that we do not produce THC at any point in time during our process. 0.0% THC is what we produce. And that alleviates a lot of the federal and state regulations. So as I've gone through before, we are targeting CBG, CBN, and THCV, CBG, CBGA, and it is ready for large scale production. We also have THCV, THCVA, which is ready for large scale production. We do have over 60 years of experience in biosynthesis, 20 years of experience in specifically working with Yaria leptolytica, which is a very, very specialized yeast that sets us apart from everybody else. We believe that we have the most experience in the world working with this specific type of yeast. We expect to be generating revenues by 2022, and we'll go through the revenue model then, but we're expecting over $12 million in revenues in 2022 and ramping significantly from there.
Dennis, Dennis,
yeah.
Real quick, this might be the right time to ask this question, and you don't have to answer it if it's a trade secret. One of the guests has asked, what enzyme are they using to form CBGA?
Next.
Yes, we are using several enzymes. For CBGA, especially, we're using gene NPHB. So this gene is coming not from cannabis plants. It's bacterial gene, and we have mutated form of NPHB, which can produce 100% CBGA with high activity. Okay.
Right.
Okay, that should do it.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, and we are raising $10 million now in a current round, and we can go into the details later, but this enables us to finish all R&D for additional cannabinoids that we have, which would be CBN and THCA, as well as that it puts us into large-scale production by Q1 next year. Hopefully we can get it sooner, but that's what we have targeted now. Basically, this is an idea of exactly what we do. We utilize water, sugar, and yeast. We infuse it with a unique IP enzyme. We take it through fermentation, and depending on what we're targeting, the end result is CBGA, CBG, THCA, CBNA, CBN, THCVA, and THCV. The market for cannabinoids, especially biosynthesized cannabinoids, is exploding. According to the Raymond James analyst that covers this space, it's expected to reach $40 billion by 2029. This is coming from very, very small beginnings. So this is one of the fastest growing markets in the world today. And you'll soon see that we believe that we have a leadership role as far as IP and what that IP delivers. And we'll walk you through that a little bit later. Basically, what the problem has been to date is that it's high cost to be able to grow enough cannabis to be able to extract these trace cannabinoids. And then by the time that you're done, it takes a significant amount of energy, natural resources, fertilizer, all types of other different things. And then you have to take it through extraction and purification. And then you have the issue of every single season, every single plant is different. Every single season is different, kind of like wine. You can't make the same exact wine every year. You can't have the same plant every year, same grow season every year. And ultimately what this produces is a very, very high cost. There's a lot of contaminants and toxins that have to be purified out, and the cost is exorbitant. For commercialization, and that's the reason why that we've gone into the biosynthesis market. What we're able to do is that we're able to produce a 99% pharmaceutical grade compound that's organic, non-GMO, And we're able to do it at, that's bioidentical, which is mean it's exactly the same as the molecule that happens that exists in nature. And that's the reason why it makes it organic. We do this utilizing 90% less energy and natural resources. And that's the reason why that we're able to deliver significant results, because of all the energy savings. It's a high quality, low cost product. Now, the rare cannabinoids that we're targeting, first, the two that we have ready for large scale production now is CBGA and CBG. There is many benefits to CBG. Antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and bone stimulant are just the top three. There's probably 6 or 7 major benefits to it. There has been 20 clinical trials that I know of that has been and it has been done on CBG, CBGA. And there's many more happening now. THCV, THCVA, aids in memory, appetite reduction, bone stimulant, and it's a neuroprotective. So this is going to be, CBG is pretty well known in the market now. It is starting to gain significant market traction as far as revenues. And, sorry about that. It's starting to get significant market traction now. THCV is a little bit less known, but I think that because of diabetes and everybody wanting to be thin, I think that it does provide some significant benefits that the market will embrace very quickly. THCA and CBN and CBNA, we expect to have this ready for large scale production by the end of this year. And you can see the benefits there of these compounds. Basically what we are, basically these are the markets that we are targeting. We think that we are a very strong fit for pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals need the exact same product or compound every single time. Through biosynthesis, we can produce that, especially if you're going to go through clinical trials. You can't have a variant of the same compound every time. We are talking with several pharmaceutical companies about going into clinical trials utilizing our compound. Where the biggest market is right now is that the CBD companies and they're looking to differentiate themselves in the market. So they're looking to add additional rare cannabinoids to their compounds to make them different in the market, and make it a superior product by delivering more specific health benefits. The CPG market is a big market right now. We're starting to see a lot of the health food companies looking to add rare cannabinoids into granola, protein bars, chocolates, cookies, and cereals, things of that sort. And they're looking for a product that doesn't have any supply chain issues. You don't have to worry about grow seasons, and that you get the exact same product every single time. Cosmetics and lotions is probably the next biggest one. And then from there, we're looking at the beverage market, which is, this could be added into a litany of different types of beverages. But basically what we are is we're a wholesaler. We sell to distribution channels, either that have their own product lines where they formulate and add these compounds into it, or that they're distributing into other product lines that they would ultimately be formulating and adding this into it, or extending their product line, including this. So we go from here. We can talk a little bit about the cannabinoids and basically what our technology does. I think that we can probably drill down into the technology of this a little bit more, because I think what's important to understand here is that what our claim is here is that we will have the highest quality and lowest cost production than anybody in the world. and our costs will be significantly less than anybody else. Max can speak to the technology. Max, do you want to chime in here about this slide, or do you want to wait until the end?
Yeah, we probably can wait for questions if we will
Yeah,
hear
okay,
questions.
sounds good. Okay, yeah, then we can talk about it.
Actually, we have one question that might be timely here. Or
Okay,
two.
perfect.
Are you feeding anything other than sugar, e.g. fatty acids, hexanic acids, OA, et cetera, as cost of sugar is very high? So obviously somebody understands that question's from Nick. So I guess the question is anything else you're doing besides sugar, if you're doing that at all?
Yeah, look, we don't feed anything else for this purpose. So basically, I know that some of our competitors feeding alvitoic acid as feed, it's making their cost really high. So we're using only sugar. Of course, we using some like additions, which stand up like yeast extract, or for example, we adding olive oil. So it's another compound like oils. So, but we don't feed expensive compounds like alvitoic acid or like anything else.
And I think I should follow this up with one thing, Arthur. One of the killer apps that we have as part of this technology is that we have developed a process to where that we're utilizing 60 to 70% less sugar than our competitors biosynthesizing cannabinoids. And sugar is about 80% of the cost for biosynthesis.
Okay, that's helpful. Let's try one more just because it's here.
Okay.
It's okay
Sure.
with you. And by the way, Nick said that was helpful. Good. So do you have research about the therapeutic comparison to whole plant extracts, specifically the findings referred to as the entourage effect?
Sure.
I can
Max,
answer.
you want to take this? Okay.
Yes. Look, entourage effect, it's well known that the idea entourage effect that if you mix in compounds, they will give you different results versus like pure compounds. It's sometimes giving you very great results through entourage effect, but sometimes it's also creating you a problem. From our knowledge, there one company, they pass through veteran administration treatment which reduce an effect from PTSD. And this drug, these compounds was working very well for 1 year. With next crop, they wasn't able to reproduce effect completely. It was useless. So basically, they use plants, they use same type of plants, same strains, same greenhouses, but the result was different. So entourage effect sometimes giving you great benefits, but also it's making your product is unstable. So it means you cannot guarantee next year same quality for entourage effect. So if you're using pure compounds, you can mix them in any proportion. And in this case, if you know a great proportion which working well, you will be able to reproduce it anytime. So it's why like pure compounds is surely giving you different effect compared to entourage effect from plants, but plants cannot give you stability. Like you cannot reproduce same effect every year with plants. Okay.
Yep. Okay, good. Thank you. Carry on, Dennis.
Okay. Thank you, Arthur. This is our intellectual property. We're happy to give you a copy of this if you want to do any research on our patents. And we believe that these are the most significant patents in the market based upon our ability to be able to deliver the results from our technology. One of these patents is very, very interesting. We had done some testing on some of our, we run tests on all of our competitors' technology. And when we ran a test on one of our competitors' technology, we realized that they were producing a byproduct. And although that they claimed that they had no byproduct. And then we found out that this byproduct was sesqua-CBG, and we filed a patent on it. So it's a brand new category of cannabinoids. We own the patent on it as we have patent pending on that. And we believe that it has a lot of the same attributes of CBG, but Sesqua CBG has some additional attributes that we believe that may be significantly better than just a regular CBG. And then there'll be various Sesquas outside of CBG that we are testing for now. But this is a whole new category. We're the only company in the space that owns a patent for a new category of cannabinoids. Walking through the summary is that we have a pioneering novel proprietary cannabinoid production method. The market is exploding. We have significant experience in this area, and we're seeking funding to go into commercialization. And we believe that there is significant global demand for the compounds that we're preparing to produce. We've spoken to people everywhere from China, throughout Europe, throughout the rest of Asia, Brazil, Mexico, and the United States and Canada. And we will be able to sell hundreds of millions of dollars of these compounds once we get into full scale production. So I think I need to, okay, and one of the compounds that we have successfully biosynthesized, we're going into large scale production of it. It's called astaxanthin. We have named the company. It's a completely separate company now. It's called BioKai, Kai. And this just shows you that this is a biosynthesis platform, that we are able to biosynthesize any high value compound that has a significant market around it. And we will be able to disrupt those markets significantly. And, the astaxanthin market is over $1 billion market. We're testing now with two of the largest players in that market. And those orders should be hundreds of millions of dollars to us sometime next year. So we believe that this is just the beginning of many, many spin-offs that we'll be able to produce. There's two things I need to add here that is not in the presentation because they're so recent. We just signed a strategic partnership with one of the largest, one of the richest families in Mexico. They have a strategic partnership with the largest pharmaceutical company and pharmacy chain in Mexico. We will be setting up production in Mexico and distribution throughout Mexico and Latin America from Mexico. And they will be paying for all the production, all the marketing, and we're doing a 50-50 split on that. We have more information on that if you want to inquire. We're involved in a press release with a publicly traded company to where that we will be, and we're in the LOI stage now. We're going to a definitive agreement next week to where that we will be biosynthesizing psychedelics, multiple compounds of psychedelics for pharmaceutical therapeutics. And we will be providing the R&D, the biosynthesis of these psychedelics, and we will be providing the technology and know-how for the production. And we will be initially distributing throughout Australia through the doc psychologists and psychiatrists in Australia and Europe. And it'll be a GMP product, and we can talk a little bit more about that later.
So, Dennis, can I just jump in here? Because I think
sure. Yeah.
Just a point of clarification that could be helpful. You're seeking capital to expand the production, and that, is it fair to say that you already know you can produce this? It's not like you need money to do the research to produce it. The product.
Yeah, no. Yeah, 100% correct. We can produce these. Now we're in now we just need to go into large scale production. We believe that there will be optimization opportunities going into large scale production to where that will get higher yields or lower costs of production. And what we expect our production cost to be will be around $1 per gram. For CBG, CBGA, THCV, THCVA. And the market for those products now is anywhere from $8 to $60 a gram. So we believe that the margins are going to be there. And you know, we don't know anybody that's anywhere near what we believe that we're going to be able to go into large scale production at. Max, did you want to add anything?
Yes, I can add here. Look, basically, we have, of course, we will need to have some expenses for scaling up, and it's technically a lot of fermentation. So we will need to run like probably 300 fermentations to get to large scale production. Yet right now we have a team who has experience to scale up from lab bench, from small fermenters to like 30,000 liters. And we're in process of hiring a team which built up production. One of their final product they sold 200 tons annually. So it's mean that we'll have team who has this experience to scale up from strain to large scale production facility. Maybe we'll answer on some other questions or later.
Let's go ahead and answer these now, just
Okay,
so we don't run out of time, if that's okay.
Sure.
My friend Rick here jumped on a little late. Can you just cover the comments quickly about what you said in that it's not THC, and so there's no regulatory issues at this juncture, and that you've addressed it in that way?
Sure. We have a legal opinion from Goodwin, which that indicates that since we do not touch the plant and we do not produce THC, that we are outside the federal regulations. We're in the process now getting, when we went to apply for a cannabis license in California, they told us we didn't need one because that we don't touch the plant and we don't produce THC. Now we're looking to get, we're looking to file with the state, most likely California here, to get final approval that clearly shows that. All the federal and state regulations right now are solely around touching the plant or producing THC. So not that these regulations can, they can change, and that may change for us as well. But as they sit today, all the regulations are around producing or touching the plant or producing any quantity of THC. So we will get more of an updated version of our legal opinion here, hopefully in the next couple of months to show a little bit more detail, but we can share with what we have as of now. Is that all the questions, Arthur?
So we have one more real quick. What's the biggest technical accomplishment that's been to date? And what's the biggest technical challenge to overcome scaling?
Yeah, look, of course, it was a lot of challenges we have. It's like research never going without issues. It's always delays, always a problem which we had to resolve. So we had the issues with, for example, with making aliphatic acid production. It's take time for us. And one of the issue was regulatory, because we used, we're using genes from lichens to produce aliphatic acid. It was even issue to bring these samples from other countries to the United States. We spent like 6 months, more than 6 months, just to trying to bring samples which we already obtained. So a lot of other issues, of course, we had, but we overcome. Future issues, I would say it's not like issues, it's more like a straightforward process, but it's required a lot of work. So we'll need to run like several hundred fermentation to find parameters at which process working well or not well. All parameters need to be clearly determined, and after this we will be able to go for like 30,000 liters and higher. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay. So our plan moving forward is our path of commercialization is that we will have small scale production in our Fremont, California facility. We will start with a contract manufacturer to start to scale up on our production. And then ultimately we can, go into our own production facilities, which would be preferable to us. Our plan is to acquire a bankrupt or a going bankrupt biosynthesis company so we can retrofit that facility. We think that'll be the fastest, quickest, and most profitable way for us to operate. And I think that's our path forward as of now. But we do have small scale production that is getting ready to be built in Fremont. We do have a contract manufacturer that we have targeted for the ramp up. And then, hopefully we expect by the end of this year, first quarter next year, we will be in full scale production in our own facility. Max, did you want to add anything?
No.
Okay. Here's the management team. You can see Max is a PhD, MD. He's got significant background in genetics, in multiple different areas of biosynthesis and molecular biology. We also have a team of PhDs, which are that are very, very laser focused, have been on the biosynthesis market and working with Yario Liptolytica, which is a specialized yeast. We have Thomas Colano, which has built and run biosynthesis production facilities. So we have a lot of experience there as well. You can find all this information on our website as well. So I won't spend too much time on it. Intellectual property, you can see who our counsel is there. We're using DLA Piper for our legal. And you can, and then the board of directors is changing as, within the next couple of days. We are bringing some people in and having some people leave. What's really, really critically important, I think, here is that, we've only raised $3.5 million to date, but we've been able to produce more results in a shorter period of time with less money than anybody else in the space. And this is due to that we have strategic research partnerships with 4 major universities around the world. Denmark Technical University, Clemson University, Imperial College, London, and the Institute of Genetics, Moscow. The Institute of Genetics in Moscow doesn't even have a logo, so we couldn't put one up. But we've been able to leverage their resources and their knowledge to be able to produce significantly better results or more results than we would have been able to just on our own budget. And that's the reason why we've been able to produce so much with so little. Our current timeline, we can, obviously you can take a look at this. I've pretty much taken you through the timeline that we have moving forward. We will be in a full-scale production here by the end of this year, first quarter next year, and we will have 2 additional strains that will be ready for large-scale production by then. Here is the financial projections, the high-level numbers, is $16 million in revenues in 2022, $84 million in 2023, $340 million in 2024. These numbers, because of some shipping delays, we were expecting these numbers to show up a couple of quarters earlier, but we had some shipping delays with equipment, but now we're back on track. And we feel very confident we'll be able to produce these numbers. The market's there for it. We have the quality and the cost to be able to capture major market share. This is just basically the cap table. It's we can talk about that later if you're interested. Use of proceeds, research and development, equipment, G&A, just your basic stuff. But $10 million definitely gets us there. I think that we are entertaining the possibility of moving into a SPAC, but we have not committed either way on that as of now. And if we would go into a SPAC, we'd probably most likely have $20 million or more in it. Let's see, this is basically just more basic cap tables on our information. So I think at the end of the day, the takeaway here is that our claim is that we can produce the highest quality, 99% plus a pharmaceutical grade, bioidentical, organic, non-GMO cannabinoids. And, we do it utilizing 90% or more or less energy and natural resources, which produces 70 to 90% less cost for us on the production side. So we think that at $1 a gram, we will be significantly below anybody else in the market. And, this is expected to be a $40 billion market by 2029. We expect to own a big chunk of this market share. And at the end of the day, every market gets commoditized. And when this market gets commoditized and everybody goes from relationships to quality and price, we think that we will be the clear leader in this space. Max, you want to add anything for closing comments?
Actually, can I just jump in here real quick before you do that, Maxon? This is probably not a very fair question, but it might give some context, right?
Sure.
So of all the predictions you can make in terms of the buyers of this type of product, synthesized or otherwise, what percentage of the market in the next 2 or 3 years will be happy not to have such a pure product and pay for it, independent of the price? And what percentage of the market absolutely needs consistent, pure product?
I'd say it's about a 90-10 mix. 90% would prefer the biosynthesized version, only because that the cost of growing plants and producing these rare cannabinoids is exorbitant. Once you get outside CBG, the costs are just, you cannot grow enough plants to be able to produce enough commercial scale, and your costs are going to be significantly higher than us, 10, 20 times higher, at least. So, and then for the people that are the large distributors or people that would be adding this into their products, which are the large corporations or the large brands, they can't have the chance that you have a bad grow season, or that there's going to be supply chain issues because of wildfires or hurricanes or whatnot. And they need the exact same product each and every time. So the reason why that there's been so much hesitancy outside the not legalization of it by the federal government has been that there's no consistency. The supply chain is all messed up with growing cannabis and being able to deliver it. And, for the people that needs tons of it, not the people that need, small, batch operators, or the people that are just selling a couple of, tens of millions of dollars a year, but the people that are looking to sell hundreds of millions of dollars a year of these types of products, which are the large chains. But there will be some people that will say, biosynthesis, this is outside of what they're comfortable with. But at the end of the day, what we're doing is no different than how they produce insulin or how they produce stevia, and stevia is considered organic. So I think that there'll be less than 10% or less of the market will be against biosynthesized, at least the way we do it. Chemically synthesized things have a lot of contamination and toxins, and that there'll be major pushback on that, but not on what we're doing.
Is there a competitor that's chomping at your heels here that is of any consequence?
Next.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? What competitors which you have?
I'm sorry, I'm using an American.
Let me explain it. So, hey, Max, who's our biggest competitor in the space right now?
Yeah, look, we have multiple competitors which claiming huge progress. For example, Demetrix. Demetrix, I think it's one of strongest team. They come to market with finding gene CS54. Yet, it's really a highly active enzyme, but again, we found that it's producing byproducts, and we file and it's producing CSQ-CBJ. It's what we file patent for. So it's first. Really strong competitors is, of course, Ginkgo Bioworks. They don't have issue any capital. They have a lot of capital, and they have a relatively strong team. Hyacinth has some unique approach. They're using gene for alevitol production, not alevitoic acid. It's not so good, but at least it's a unique approach. Aurora Cannabis has multiple patents related to alevitoic acid production and several other genes, for example, CBGA production, CS51. So it's also, it was a relatively strong team, and the initial inventor of, person who initially found the critical genes, Jonathan Page, working for Aurora Cannabis. So it's another point. Of course, we heard about many other companies like who using E. coli, for example, for production. But from our knowledge, they have huge issues with production of alevitoic acid, and they have huge issues with conversion CBG to next step to CBD or THCA. We don't have these issues. So there are many other competitors, but like if you want to speak, I can tell about specific one, especially if we will get some information.
Yeah, let me clarify this for you, Arthur. I mean, basically what we're getting right now is 5% dry cell mass yields, and that's the industry terminology. And based upon what we know and the intel that we have on our competitors, they're getting somewhere around 0.5%. So we're getting significantly better yields. Better yields mean lower costs. And then when you compound that with the fact that we have developed a process to utilize 60 to 70% less sugar, our cost should be significantly lower than our competitors in this space. And that is basically where most of the guys are across the board. Not that they couldn't catch up maybe later, but it would take them some time. And a lot of people spent a lot of money going down dead-end streets, you know, the yields cannot be made based upon the IP that they have. And they continue to pour cash into things that are not producing the results that are necessary to compete with us.
I don't want to speak for you, but I imagine that there's plenty of room for plenty of competitors because of the likely demand, right? So
yeah, I mean, what we're claiming, as long as we're in the top 3, we're going to be, you know, $1 billion plus company.
Yeah. So super cool, guys. Very, very helpful. One last thing, and then maybe you can wrap it up with some final statements. What's your prediction, if at all, and what would you do if things started going down the regulatory route for CBD, just for the purposes of creating an environment where people were confident that even though you're producing something as a synthetic, that others will be producing, and so they want to have regulations and framework around stuff that's safe for the consumer.
Now,
Arthur, may I tell you? Look, biosynthesis is not synthetic. So, for example, using FDA rules and some European regulations, we can claim that our product will be organic and non-GMO. So biosynthesis is not counted as synthetic. At least it is officially by FDA standards.
Sure. And then the other part that Arthur, let me just be clear here. Basically, what we're expecting is that if regulations do come down, well, that there will be safety tests done on our compounds to make sure that there's no ill effects. And, you know, those safety tests are not like a clinical trial or anything, you know, it's not, they're much, much softer and easier. You know, we would have no issue passing those. I mean, it would delay us maybe by a couple of months, but I think that at the end of the day, that would be worst case scenario.
Just have to comply, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, safety tests. I mean, basically, these are known compounds. They're known to be safe, you know, and then basically.
You hit the mute button.
Yeah. Then we might have to do safety tests, but these are known compounds known to be safe. You know, CBG has been around and known for 25, 30 years. So, you know, there's been multiple clinical trials done on them. So it's, you know, that's a really, really safe one. We think of the other ones that, you know, the fact that there wasn't any, you know, these are known compounds. So it's not like we're going into basically where we've invented a new compound that's never been tested ever before. This is coming out of nature.
Right. Perfect. Okay, Dennis, you want to wrap it up, or whoever?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we believe that we have the best IP in the space, and based upon the results that we're able to deliver. And we think that at the end of the day, the company that's going to own the biggest share of this market is going to be whoever can produce the highest quality, the lowest cost product, period. And that our R&D team, with our research partnerships, that, with a little bit of money, we're going to be able to, I mean, just look how much we've done with the little bit of money that we've had today. With 10 or 20 or $30 million, we could go global, open up multiple production facilities around the world. We do have joint partnerships all of our joint partnerships, they fund our production facilities in overseas. So we have zero cost on production facilities, and when we enter into JVs, and they all have large distribution networks tied to them. And thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions at all, we'd love to talk to you, and or if you have any ideas, of ways that we could work together.
That's awesome. Thank you, Dennis.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks again, Arthur.
Bye.
Just to be clear, everybody, we're going to make sure that the group here is in touch with you directly. So if have asked for the DAC or to be in contact, we'll make sure that they have your information. And as always, thank you for sharing the only thing you can't make more of, and that's your time with us today. Till next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.